I'm gonna kill you for what you've done. I did it, Father. I avenged you.
Eddy was born into wealth but lost it all at the age of 19. His father was one of the richest men in Brazil at the time and was also wrapped in an intense, ongoing struggle with local drug cartels. Eddy's father was eventually shot after obtaining evidence that could bring the cartel into justice. When Eddy discovered his father's wounds, his last words to him was, "Now is not the right time to fight. Falsely admit to the crimes and hide in prison. Only there you will be safe." After that, Eddy turned himself in for the murder of his father, and for the next 8 years would be spending his life in prison. In prison is where Eddy learned the iconic capoeira fighting style he now uses today, after witnessing the fighting style being used by an old man during a riot. Upon his release, now roughly 27 years old, Eddy was a full-fledged capoeira master.
Vamos lá. Eddy Gordo.
Still wanting revenge for the death of his father, Eddy joined the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 3 to persuade the Mishimas to help him in any way possible. However, during the events of Tekken 3, Eddy learns after a gang member he captures that Kazuya Mishima ordered the hit on his father. This was the beginning of Eddy's long journey to hunt down Kazuya Mishima and make him pay for what he's done. Many characters in Tekken have been wronged by the Mishimas, and many of them dedicated everything to getting revenge. But the thing is, the Mishimas are just so powerful. Not only do they command corporations that military strength rivals that of an entire country, but the Mishimas themselves possess ungodly strength. So even if you do fight one of them one-on-one, the chance of you winning is slim. And that's not even considering Jin and Kazuya's ability to use the Devil Gene. But even then, that didn't stop Eddy and many other characters from still trying to kill the Mishimas for the wrong that they caused. In his pursuit of Kazuya, Eddy goes missing.
Wait for me, Christy. I will come back.
And in Tekken 4, another student of the same master, Christine, goes looking for him. Eddy eventually returns of his own free will after learning that his master is 1, released from prison, but then 2, he is dying of some incurable disease and has only 6 months to live. He takes this information to Jin Kazama and pleads for his help. Jin agrees to help Eddy's master in exchange for Eddy's assisting Jin in taking down Kazuya. Eddy agrees, and in Tekken 6, Eddy fights alongside Jin and wages war all over the world. During this time, Jin became the villain and causes worldwide destruction. Not only did the players hate this, and I mean really hate this, but other characters in the world of Tekken, entire arcs are formed around getting revenge on what Jin did during this point in time, like Miguel. Miguel is a walking example of the destruction that Jin caused during Tekken 6. In Tekken 8, Kazuya is even mocking Jin for what he did in Tekken 6. It's a very big thing, and Eddy played a role in that. But really, this is not unbelievable. Revenge and hatred consumes the soul. And like many characters in Tekken, Reina, Leroy, Jin, Yoshi, Brian Fury, Marduk and Armor King, Bruce, Leo, Kazuya, Julia, the list goes on. All of these characters are just like Eddy, meaning they have been consumed by revenge at one point in their story, and it was the only thing pushing them forward. After serving Jin and completing their agreement, in Tekken 7, Eddy continues his hunt for Kazuya, and this leads him to the G Corporation building, where he comes in contact with the sponsored face of G Corporation, pop idol global sensation Lucky Chloe. These two characters face off after Eddy demands Kazuya's location, and there are 2 endings to this battle. One where Eddy wins the battle and Lucky Chloe trolls him, gives him a fake note of Kazuya's location, and then runs away. While this is a stupid ending and it takes away from kind of the journey that Eddy is on, it is not that bad in comparison to the alternate version where Lucky Chloe wins. In the second ending, Lucky Chloe's ending, where she wins, in this, Eddy for some reason makes a deal with Lucky Chloe, where if he wins, she gives him Kazuya's location. If Lucky Chloe wins, Eddy will join her as kind of a backup dancer for her pop idol sensation group, whatever. Immediately after losing, Eddy and Lucky Chloe begin practicing dance moves, and Eddy in this moment is completely disrespected. He's being portrayed as weak, cowardly, and so much more. This ending is probably the most hated ending out of all endings for Tekken. Not only because of how it destroys the seriousness of Eddy's character, but also fans feel like Lucky Chloe is seen abusing and manipulating Eddy, and the game treats it as a joke to be laughed at. If the roles were reversed between Eddy and Lucky Chloe, would it still be a joke? After the outrage, fans were left wondering which of the two endings are canon. And now players are wondering, how will Eddy be portrayed in Tekken 8? If you look back at promotional material for Tekken 7, Eddy was being depicted as a servant of Lucky Chloe. This leads players to believe that her ending is actually canon. But I don't think the developers will do that, because another character who was disrespected in Tekken 7, not as badly as Eddy, but still disrespected, is Raven. He goes from being, in Tekken 5, the best in his clan, strong enough to battle Heihachi, strong enough to help Lars take down Azazel, to, in Tekken 7, Master Raven calling him an imbecile who needs to be retrained.
That imbecile needs to be retrained.
This was another slap in the face to fans. You're taking our characters that we love and you're making them jokes and replacing them. Now, Tekken 8 did learn from this. In the situation of Eddy being retrained, Tekken 8 plays it off elegantly and reframes his training as more so of a warrior's journey to reach their full potential. This is emphasized by Victor promoting Raven in his What If ending. He tells him how much stronger and better he is and gives him a new title.
Raven, tu commanderas désormais ton unité sous le nom de code Great Raven.
The developers realize that putting one character down to uplift another is a very bad idea. And in Tekken 8, if you pay close attention, you can see that the developers put a lot of effort into portraying all of the characters in the best light, and it worked. The developers were able to bring out the best versions of so many of these characters, and for Eddy, I believe it will be no different. But this is the difficult part. Figuring out what is Eddy. Is he vengeance? Is he honor? Is he loyalty? But when I look at Eddy's entire character arc as he progressed through each Tekken game, I ask the question, how would he be added into the ongoing struggles within Tekken 8? At the end of it, Jin seems happy and peaceful after losing his Devil Gene. He goes on a ride with Zhao Yu. While Kazuya, on the other hand, in his ending, he says he will keep fighting no matter what, even after losing his Devil Gene. The third side of this is Reina. Reina, at the end, unlocks her Devil Gene, and before that, she was trying to recruit Nina for some mysterious plan of hers. There is one stage in Tekken 8 that showcases a war between, it looks like Mishima soldiers versus either Yggdrasil or G Corporation, and it is surrounding a Mishima compound. Missiles are flying off in the sky. Is this the war that Reina is waging against Jin and Kazuya? Is she using the Mishima, which was absent throughout the entirety of Tekken 8's story? Is she using the Mishima power to combat both Yggdrasil and the remnants of G Corporation? That's one question. The second question, will Eddy be recruited by Reina and fight alongside her to take down Kazuya Mishima? How will Eddy react when Jin shows up, Jun Kazama show up, the other characters? There's so much to factor in to this story DLC, and Eddy's inclusion into it is bringing a lot of history, baggage, and just pure awesomeness.
Figures. You free me for the murder of my parents. Does that ring a bell?
なるほど。あのブラジル人資産家の息子か。
I'm gonna kill you for what you've done.